The two-party contradictions of the First Amendment. Hello everyone, this is Eric from the Illuminated Sheeple Productions. Today I want to talk about how the right and the left are generally the same on violating our First Amendment. I'm going to get into some articles, talk about them a little bit, and then I will finish with a little Jesse Ventura and his opinions on it, since we are very similar in our beliefs in that situation. Jesse does not have my approval to use his clips, so if you choose to have me remove it, contact me and I'll be gladly to remove it or ask you for permission. Thanks, Jesse. All right. So let's read what the First Amendment actually says. It states, quote, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abriding the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. With that being said, I'm going to use some examples in current events on how both the conservatives and the liberals in general unintentionally want to dismantle the First Amendment. I will put up some headline article clips just showing you the basis of my examples. The more familiar example would be Colin Kaepernick and other NFL players are taking a knee during the national anthem, on which most of them are doing it for the awareness of police brutality towards African Americans and other minorities in the community. Or at least that's what I assume the majority of them are doing it for. That seems to be the number one issue there. So I'll use an article written for CNN, and CNN is typically a liberal news source. So it's more biased towards liberal policies and etc. But CNN and the liberals tend to side with Colin Kaepernick on his kneeling. So this article reads, the title is Colin Kaepernick named Amnesty International Ambassador of Conscience. So obviously this is starting out as a positive thing that he's doing. So as you could tell, this is going towards the liberal, the typical liberal opinion on the kneeling during the anthem here. So the article goes down, and take your time reading it. I'm going to leave this up there for a little while so you can make sure you can read all these clips from the articles. So even if I stop talking, I'll still leave it up for you. But it reads, Amnesty International awarded Colin Kaepernick its Ambassador of Conscience Award on Saturday for his public protest against racial and social injustice. Well, then this was written April 21st, 2018. So it's pretty relatively new. The Ambassador of Conscience Award celebrates the spirit of activism and acceptable courage as embodied by Colin Kaepernick. Shalil Shetty, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but the Human Rights Group Secretary General said in a statement, he is an athlete who is now widely recognized for his activism because of his refusal to ignore or accept racial discrimination. The award is Amnesty International's highest honor according to its website. Past winners include Nelson Mandela, Malala Yousafzai, or whatever, U2, Alicia Keys, I don't know that I can't even pronounce that other name, but whatever. You get the point. So Kaepernick was presented with the award at the ceremony in Amsterdam, Netherlands. Okay. So here's a tweet from Amnesty International about the award. Why they chose him. He confronted racial injustice. He refused to compromise, and he inspired others. Athlete and activist Colin Kaepernick is our Ambassador of Conscience for 2018, and that was dated April 21st, 2018. Kaepernick is a former quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, just in case if any of you are not aware who he is, which I'm pretty sure most of you know who he is by now. He became the subject of controversy when he kneeled during the national anthem before several 2016 NFL preseason and regular season games in protest of police shootings of African American men and other social injustices faced by black people in the United States. This is a quote from Kaepernick. "To me, this is something that has to change," he said in August 2016 interview. He also said that and when there is significant change, and I feel like the flag represents what it's supposed to represent, and this country is representing people the way that it's supposed to, I'll stand. Quote. His protest, which inspired other players to participate, sparked national debate over issues of police brutality and racial and social injustice. He was widely criticized for what many onlookers characterized as showing disrespect to the U.S. flag. Kaepernick's kneeling drew the attention of President Donald Trump, who said during a September rally in Alabama that NFL owners should respond to protests by firing players. Trump did say this. So this is not fake news. That part right there, and it's not fake news what Kaepernick said and why he's doing it. So it's not fake news. This is actually real news. Obviously, real news can get twisted and turned based off whatever, but just remember this is real news. When high-profile people choose to take a stand for human rights, it emboldens many others in the struggles against injustice, Shetty said, which is the secretary of the Amnesty Conscious group. Colin Kaepernick's commitment is all the more remarkable because of the alarming levels of vitriol it has attracted from those in power. In March 2017, Kaepernick became a free agent, but has yet to be offered a contract from any NFL team. In October, he filed a grievance against the league, accusing team owners of colluding to keep him from being signed. Kaepernick said Saturday that he shares the award with all of the countless people throughout the world combating the human rights violations of police officers and their uses of oppressive and excessive force. I am here to join with you all in this battle against police violence, he said. Since becoming a free agent last year, Kaepernick completed a September 2016 pledge to donate $1 million to organizations working in what he called oppressed communities. Kaepernick was named GQ's Citizen of the Year in November, and in December accepted the 2017 Sports Illustrated Muhammad Ali Legacy Award. He has also received the Eason Monroe Courageous Advocate Award from the American Civil Liberties Union of South Carolina in December. This is written by CNN's A.J. Willingham and Dakin Andone, and that came out April 21st, 2018. As you can see, this is obviously an article more not 100% supporting his cause directly, but definitely a biased support for his actions and his stance. This is pretty typical with CNN. They will definitely take the liberal side most of the time. All right, and now I will show you the counter or the opposite article on the same topic. All right, well, here is another article. This one is by Fox News, which is typically a conservative-based or biased news source. They tend to take the opposite opinions of what liberals do with like news and media and all that stuff. So we'll start with the title. This was written in April 13th, 2018. So it reads, Colin Kaepernick from Super Bowl quarterback to NFL outcast amid national anthem controversy. So just even the title alone starts off negative, because obviously the other one started off positive because CNN is biased and likes Kaepernick, where the conservatives from Fox don't like Kaepernick, so they're going to start off very negative. This is an easy marketing, propaganda, public relations, and public opinion like step one. It's basically like public relations 101. How to attach emotions to your mind. So basically, I'm ranting off a little bit here, sorry, but with the liberal side of CNN, it made people who agree with it feel good, and people who didn't feel good feel annoyed or upset, or they call it fake news is what they like to say, or whatever. It's all stupid anyway. But these articles are specifically here to trigger your emotions. So whether you like something or not, it's going to trigger some sort of reaction. So this one is automatically triggering the support, the people who are emotional for the support of Kaepernick being fined or fired or never playing again, and what he's doing is, according to them, wrong. So this article is already starting off basically agreeing with those people. So I'll read. I'll continue to read here. Jobless quarterback Colin Kaepernick reportedly still won't stand for the playing of the national anthem, and it appears NFL teams still can't stand it. Following reports Thursday that Kaepernick's tryouts for the Seattle Seahawks was postponed after he told the team he would not stop his national anthem kneeling protests. It appeared the Seahawks signed Stephen Morris for the backup quarterback role Kaepernick was being considered for. And as quarterback jobs appear to be getting filled across the league, is there still room for Kaepernick? The Seahawks contacted Kaepernick around 2 weeks ago, asking him to make a trip to the team's training center for a practice. ESPN reported Thursday the trip, however, was put on hold after the Seahawks reportedly argued with Kaepernick about his anthem protest. The team asked him if he would continue kneeling during the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner, and if he was signed to the NFL again, and he was unwilling to give that assurance to them, according to ESPN. Kaepernick began kneeling during the national anthem during 2000 and 2017 season while he was with the San Francisco 49ers as a part of a protest against the perceived police brutality. Since Kaepernick opted out of his contract with the 49ers at the conclusion of that season, no NFL team has signed him. The Seattle gig is not the first time Kaepernick appears to have been passed over by a team, since he became a free agent due to his social injustice leanings and associations. In 2017, the Baltimore Ravens were reportedly interested in bringing on Kaepernick as a backup quarterback, but ultimately didn't sign him. Former Ravens linebacker Ray Lewis claimed Kaepernick would have been signed by the team, but a tweet by Kaepernick's girlfriend Nessa Diab swayed the team's decision. ABC News reported that Diab tweeted a picture of Lewis hugging the team's owner, Steve Biscotti, next to a still frame from the movie Django Unchained that showed Leonardo DiCaprio's character, a slave owner, next to his loyal slave played by Samuel L. Jackson. So Colin Kaepernick takes action against NFL for collision. So Colin Kaepernick hired high-powered attorney Mark Gerogas or whatever to take on the NFL. He's accusing team owners of colluding to deprive him of employment. His girl goes out and put out this racist gesture and doesn't know we are in the back office about to try to get this guy signed, Lewis said at the time. Steve Biscotti had said it himself. How can you crucify Ray Lewis when Ray Lewis is the one calling for Colin Kaepernick? Kaepernick filed a grievance against the NFL in October, accusing team owners of colluding to keep him out of the league due to his protests. Once a rising star in the NFL, Kaepernick jumped into the starting quarterback role for the San Francisco 49ers when starter Alex Smith was injured in 2011. Kaepernick led the team to the NFC Championship game in 2012, but the 49ers lost to the New York Giants in overtime. The next year, Kaepernick led his team to the Super Bowl, but the 49ers were defeated by the Ravens 34-31. Kaepernick performed well the following season, again leading the 49ers to an NFC Championship game, which the team lost. The 49ers then signed Kaepernick to a 6-year, $126 million contract, but things went downhill from there. Colin Kaepernick's lawyers seek depositions of ex-Papa John CEO Roger Goodell's wife, reports say. After signing the contract, Kaepernick was fined $11,000 by the league after using an inappropriate language towards another player. The team ended in 2013-14 season at 8-8 and missed the playoffs. The next season, Kaepernick lost his starting gig and was injured. To start the 2016-17 season, Kaepernick began the national anthem protests. Soon, other NFL players joined in, particularly during the next season, at which point Kaepernick was out of the league. The protests angered many, most notably President Trump, who said Kaepernick should have been suspended for kneeling. Now, I'm not positive if this one was true, because I know he said he was fired, but at the same time, I'm not going to discredit that either. I just don't know if it was actually said. But Trump also said that the NFL should have suspended him for one game and he would have never done it again. Trump told Fox News' Sean Hannity in October. They could have then suspended him for 2 games, and they could have suspended him again if he did it a third time for the season, and you would never have had a problem. Sorry, I just couldn't read that paragraph for some reason. Anyways, Kaepernick attended a deposition with the NFL lawyers in New York this week regarding his grievance case. It is unclear if any team currently maintains interest in him. Now, you can obviously see this is definitely more anti-Kaepernick-based article, just on the way it just every time they mentioned him, they used very negative language, kind of like more if he's like an annoyance to the NFL, how nobody wants him, and they just kept focusing on the negative aspects of him. They didn't mention any of they didn't really mention any of the good things he's doing with this, for instance, like the charities and things like that. I mean, so you could just see how the two sides have a completely opposite view of Kaepernick and any other NFL players that are kneeling. So. All right, so here's an article from CNN Tech, apparently, and it is about the controversy of platforms such as YouTube, Apple, and Facebook that removed content from Infowars and Alex Jones. This article is basically the liberal version of the Alex Jones and associating pages and etc. podcasts being taken off, and so I'm going to get into this article, and we will. Conservatives are mad that they're taking Alex Jones off because they feel like they're violating his First Amendment, just like the liberals think that Kaepernick is being violated for his First Amendment as well. I think I forgot to mention that main part in the Kaepernick situation. But anyway, so here we go. All right, so each social media platform said Monday that it had removed content from Jones or Infowars because it had violated their policies. The company's moves shut down key distribution channels that have given the controversial media figure easy access to millions of internet users. The most dramatic action came last from YouTube, which is owned by Google. It removed many top channels associated with Infowars, including the Alex Jones channel, which had 2.4 million subscribers and videos that were viewed over 1.5 billion times. Quote, when users violate policies repeatedly, like our policies against hate speech and harassment, or our terms prohibiting circumvention of our enforcement measures, we terminate their accounts, said spokesperson for YouTube. Some channels for some of Infowars' top personalities were still on the platform. However, Infowars is notorious for... So here's where it gets completely negative. This is where you completely can tell where the article's going. It's going against Alex Jones and supporting the platform ban here. So Infowars is notorious for spreading demonstrably false information and conspiracy theories on a host of issues. It is suggested that the Sandy Hook massacre was a hoax and that the September 11th terrorist attacks were an inside job orchestrated by the U.S. government. Now let me add to this. There's a lot of credible people out there that either believes in both those things was a false flag, or one of them was, or whatever, or there's some corruption or something that we don't know about. So there's a lot of people. It's not just he's not the crazy one that he's not the only one that thinks that. However, he just happened to, he's a little. Well, anyway, InfoWars did not respond to a request for comment. But in a message posted Monday on Twitter, Jones encouraged users to access live streams directly from the InfoWars website. He described it as the one platform they can't ban. Earlier on Monday, Facebook removed 4 pages associated with InfoWars and Jones for repeated violations of its policies. The social media platform said in a statement that it had unpublished the Alex Jones channel page, the Alex Jones page, the InfoWars page, and the InfoWars nightly news page. Facebook removed 4 videos from the pages last week after determining they were violated its hate speech and bullying policies. It also suspended the personal profile of Jones. The company said that more content from the pages had since been reported. It had decided to remove them for repeated violations of community standards and accumulating too many strikes. Upon review, we have taken it down for glorifying violence, using dehumanizing language to describe people who are transgender, Muslims, and immigrants, which violates our hate speech policies, said Facebook. The page is displayed the following message when accessed Monday. Sorry, this content isn't available right now. Facebook said the page administration should be able to appeal its decision in the absence of an appeal, or if the appeal fails, the pages will be permanently deleted. The moves by Facebook, YouTube, and Apple left Twitter as the only major tech platform not to take some action against InfoWars and Jones over the past day. A Twitter spokesman told CNN that neither InfoWars nor any of its associated accounts are currently in violation of Twitter rules. For weeks, Facebook has suffered a public relations crisis over how it handles misinformation and false news on its platforms. The company said the removal of the 4 pages on Monday was unrelated. While much of the discussion around InfoWars had been related to false news, none of the violations that spurred today's removals were related to this, it said in a statement. BuzzFeed News reported on Sunday that Apple had removed 5 podcasts associated with InfoWars from iTunes and its podcast app. Apple does not tolerate hate speech, and we have clear guidelines that creators and developers must follow to ensure we provide a safe environment for all of our users. It is said in a statement provided to BuzzFeed News. Podcasts that violate these guidelines are removed from our directory, making them no longer searchable or available for download or streaming. We believe in representing a wide range of views, so long as people are respectful to those with different opinions. Apple confirmed the accuracy of its statement to CNN. This is written by Paul P. Murphy and Oliver Darcy, who I assume works for CNN Money, first published August 6, 2018. Well, there you go. I mean, you could totally tell in this article that is 100% against Alex Jones here. And the conservatives feel that this is an attack to our First Amendment, just like liberals feel that Kaepernick's right to protest, while he has the attention of millions of people across the country or even the world, is a direct attack on the First Amendment. So you can see how the two of them are kind of contradicting themselves. Now let's go look at a conservative site on this article, on the same, or not this article, the same situation here. So okay, so I found a article from Fox News Live, and this was published on August 7th. Obviously, the last article I read was definitely far from neutral, so I just glanced through this real quick, And so I'm actually just going to read the full article. It's about the same as the other three, but the title is called "Big Tech Bans Alex Jones: Drawing a Line Between Commentary and Conspiracy." So, and with the title, I cannot exactly tell what direction this is going towards. Whether it would support Alex Jones or not support Alex Jones here. So let's go down. All right. After years of deflection and foot dragging, the major tech companies are finally having to take steps toward policing their own content. They have reached this point, kicking and screaming, under great public pressure, after clinging for years to the fiction that they are just public utilities and that people can use their pipes for pretty much anything. But now they have united for a brief moment, at least, against a major conspiracy theorist. Facebook, Apple, YouTube, and Spotify have all taken against action from Alex Jones. I do like to mention from the last article, Spotify did not join the first three on that day when that article was written. That was very shortly after that they joined in. They are definitely afraid of being accused of political bias, sometimes for good reason. Both Facebook and Twitter are both grappled with incidents of discrimination against conservatives, which may have made them gun-shy about banning, in parentheses, as opposed to shadow banning some folks. Well, there you go. Right there is another. Obviously, this is it's going to definitely go for the support of Alex Jones in the least the sense of how these platforms apparently discriminate against conservatives. That's where they're going with this story. So obviously this is going in a different direction. Same scenario, different direction, and different opinions. And again, it's designed to strictly set off an emotional response to you, especially if you're conservative. It's going to make you mad, but mad that you agree. You agree that Facebook and Twitter are discriminating. That's what they're going at here. Okay, back to the article. But almost in unison, the tech giants teamed up against Jones, who runs InfoWars. Candidate Donald Trump appeared on Joe's online show in 2015, and yesterday Jones tweeted a video defense with the headline, "Emergency, President Trump must defend the First Amendment." Facebook said it has taken down some of Jones' pages for glorifying violence, which violates our graphic violence policy, and using dehumanizing language to describe people who are transgender, Muslims, and immigrants, which violates our hate speech policies. Apple said it removed the Alex Jones Show and other podcasts from iTunes and its podcast app. The company said it does not tolerate hate speech and will have clear guidelines that creators and developers must follow to ensure we provide a safe environment for all of our users. Google's YouTube dropped the axe on Jones' channel, telling the Washington Post that it terminates users who violate our, quote, policies against hate speech and harassment or our terms prohibiting circumvention of our enforcement measures. And Spotify banned Jones altogether after earlier removing some podcasts, telling the Post, "We take reports of hate content seriously and review any podcast episode or song that is flagged by our community," which makes no sense to me because some of the most horrific music you can find on Spotify and YouTube and all that other stuff. So Anyway, I know Jones has a lot of fans. Remember the controversy swirling around his interview with Megyn Kelly, but he's also a guy being sued by Sadie Hook parents for saying that the horrible massacre at Connecticut school was a hoax. Jones apologized last year in careful language for spreading the phony Pizzagate conspiracy theory, saying he'd been given inaccurate information. That's not conservative. That's at odds with reality. Jones texted the Post that being banned by tech companies was a counter-strike against the global awakening. "We've seen a giant yellow journalism campaign with thousands and thousands of articles for weeks, for months, misrepresenting what I've said and done to set the precedent to deplatform me before big tech and the Democratic Party, as well as some Republican establishment types, move against the First Amendment in this country as we know it, he said. Separately, Jones called the New York Times a globalist intelligence agency and said that the evil, wicked sociopaths who work for major media outlets were teaming up to take down InfoWars. I confess I'd like to know how the 4 tech companies happened to take action on the same day. Perhaps they concluded there was safety in numbers. They seem to have an ally in Drudge, and whose banner headline was "Apple regulates hate." But this is just a skirmish. Just recently, Mark Zuckerberg got himself in trouble by saying he saw no reason to ban pages by Holocaust deniers. There's a fine line between banning hate and bullying on one hand and censoring controversial political opinions on the other. These battles will play out in a hyper-partisan political atmosphere, but for now, Apple, Facebook, Google, and Spotify have all agreed there is one person who falls on the wrong side of that line. And this is written by Howard Kurtz, August 7th, 2018. He is a Fox News analyst and the host of Media Buzz. He's also author of Media Madness, Donald Trump, the Press, and the War Over the Truths. So here you go. Here it is again. It's basically the same kind of article as the liberal version, just different opinions and different emotional triggers for different people. So like if you're a conservative, you'd be like, and you're reading this, you'd be like, well, yeah, that's not fair. That's against First Amendment rights, blah, blah, blah. But if you're a liberal and you're reading this, they'd be like, oh, if you're reading this one article, you're basically saying, oh, well, that's all wrong. He's got full hate speech. He should be banned because he's threatening to the country and blah, blah, blah. Now it's exactly just, all of this is just a matter of where your head is at on the two-party system. So now that we got those are the only articles I'm going to read. Otherwise, I'm just going to bore you all day long with articles. But now I'll go into the conclusion of the why the two-party system contradicts the First Amendment. So, all right, I'll get right. I hope all of you finished reading this, and so I'll get to the conclusion. I will conclude on these current events. Some people like to use the defense of the violations of the First Amendment is that people tend to use a statement that the NFL, Google, Apple, etc. are private companies and they can fire or fine who they want. Now, I disagree with this, for in the NFL's case, not only are stadiums public property, the company itself is subsidized by the government, and the government will only subsidize big corporations if they follow the interest of the government. It doesn't have to follow 100%, but it's a huge influence. So therefore, when the military is spending all this taxpayers' money to hold these, patriotic rah freaking rallies and speeches and national anthems and whatever you want to do, try to get you all patriotic to support illegal wars and to recruit more people. Of course, they're not going to want somebody like Kaepernick taking a knee during the national anthem, so they want to restrict him as much as possible. That is against the First Amendment. That is against the petition to that's against the freedom to petition against your government. Now, during the national anthem, he's not holding up signs or screaming out or disrupting anybody at all. He's not harming anyone, just taking a knee. So you know what? I don't have to agree with him on why he's doing it, but I respect the right that he can do it. So good for you, Kaepernick, for standing your ground, not conforming, and putting money where you stand. Good for you. I hope the best successes in life, and I hope you just get richer off not playing football, because football is just a big distraction from the real things that are going on in life anyway. And so for in the case of the media platforms who decided to ban Alex Jones in the in the claims that he has hate speech and graphic violent material. I'm just going to say this. They are also private companies who are highly subsidized by the government. And the government doesn't want conspiracy theorists or truthers or whatever you want to call him, regardless if he's giving real information, false information, or anywhere in between. They don't want him on there because that means people will start petitioning the government, questioning the government, and they don't want that. They want people just smart enough to do the paperwork, run the machines, and don't ask questions. So material from Alex Jones makes people question everything that the government does. So basically, the taxpayers are footing the bill while the government can influence the decisions of these companies. So right there and then, they are restricting the freedom of press, the freedom of speech, because hate speech is a very horrible thing to use, because hate speech only is hate speech according to who accepts it as hate speech. So that's control of freedom of speech. So as you can see here, in all of the rights of the First Amendment is being violated here, and the government has something to do with it because they're the ones paying out to these companies. So is this the world you want? So if you, like I said, if you believe that Kaepernick should stand, but think Alex Jones is being treated unfairly, you're just not getting it. And if you're a liberal who supports Kaepernick kneeling, but thinks that Alex Jones needs to be banned, you're just not getting it. It applies to everyone. That me, you, Kaepernick, Alex Jones, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this video, or pissed you off. I don't know, whatever triggers your little mind. Just at least take it in as something that you can use for future references. All right. And this is brought to you by Illuminated Sheeple Productions. And now I put on a little Jesse Ventura for you.
I salute Colin Kaepernick. I fully support him. Fully and completely. That's why I served my country, so that you have the freedom to protest. If we don't like protesting, what's next? I don't have to agree with him, but I'll still respect his right to do it. And everyone should respect that. He shouldn't be booed. And who's he harming? When I was governor of Minnesota, the Dems and Repubs tried to nail me. You know what they did? They passed a law requiring the Pledge of Allegiance for all public school children. I immediately vetoed it. You know why? Because governments should not mandate patriotism. Governments earn patriotism. You earn that. Who mandated patriotism? The Germans in the 1930s. They mandated patriotism. That's what we want to be. We want to build walls now and be East Berlin. That's the direction of the United States today. I salute Colin Kaepernick for having courage, a man of his convictions, and he's also putting $1 million, putting his money where his stance is. Good for him. Whether I agree with him or not is irrelevant. Well, I've always felt that Bradley Manning did what his conscience told him to do. Bradley Manning made public documents that many of them probably should be public. If they're going to make him out to be a traitor and they're going to sentence him like a traitor, well then the country and its people need to know what treason he committed, and it should not be done behind closed doors. See, I don't think whistleblowers should be prosecuted necessarily. I mean, should we prosecute someone for exposing when we were torturing? I don't think we should.
Drones are a huge topic in the States right now. Everything from Obama using them to kill American citizens overseas, to Rand Paul's filibuster about whether or not they should use drones stateside. How do you feel about drone warfare?
I think it should be banned. I think it gives the president and it gives the power too easy of a way to commit murders. Far too easy then to go to war. They will be abused. And is it worth the abuse? That's something that each and every one of us better look in the mirror and take a hard look at our souls and say, is it worth the it's like the death penalty. Maybe we'll put it in that context. The death penalty. Is the death penalty worth it if you kill one innocent person? I don't think so. I think that if one innocent person is put to death because of the death penalty, that's one too many. That's one a civilized society should not allow to happen. So I don't believe, that's one of the reasons I don't believe in the death penalty. What we've seen in the last decade has been a complete erosion systematically of our Bill of Rights. Not just search and seizure and putting us all under observation and which they have no right to do. They're attacking the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. They attacked the First Amendment when the Wall Street protesters were merely exercising a right that is guaranteed by our Constitution, and they were ran off with dogs and pepper spray. Oh, why I had to laugh on the hypocrisy of it. While we were heralding the protests over in the Arab world, in the Middle East, at the very same moment we were pepper spraying and running off with dogs, protesting in our own country. If people don't wake up to the fact that their Bill of Rights is being systematically eroded, and they need to know that it's harder to get it back once it's gone, and they're allowing it to go, and they're not listening to Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin said, "Those that will give up their freedom for security shall have and deserve neither." Because people need to remember freedom is security.